Some of the biggest retirement mistakes don't happen while building wealth. They happen while transitioning into retirement. And in many cases, the people making these mistakes are actually very responsible financially. They save consistently. They built strong portfolios. They paid down their debt. They did all the things that we're supposed to do. But once retirement gets close, the decisions start to become much more interconnected. What I mean is, Social Security begins affecting taxes. Taxes affect your withdrawals. Your withdrawals affect your investment risk. And your healthcare needs and costs affect your income needs overall. And one decision can quietly ripple effect somewhere else inside this overall plan. So that's why in this video, I want to walk you through 5 retirement mistakes that can create unnecessary stress, taxes, and inefficiencies later. And more importantly, how to think about avoiding them before the retirement begins. I'm Chris Knight with Cornerstone Wealth Planning, and because retirement planning today involves much more than simply managing investments, we help clients coordinate retirement income, taxes, Social Security claiming strategies, healthcare planning, and long-term investment strategy all into one integrated plan. If you'd ever like help evaluating your own retirement strategy, there's a link in the description where you can schedule a complimentary call with our team at any time. Now let's start with one of the biggest planning misconceptions people carry into retirement. Mistake number 1, confusing net worth with retirement readiness. Now, a strong portfolio does not automatically mean someone is ready to retire. Because retirement isn't simply about how much money exists inside your investment accounts, it's about whether those assets can generate sustainable income over decades while adapting to taxes, inflation, healthcare costs, and market volatility. So that's why retirement planning eventually shifts from just looking at assets towards understanding cash flow. For example, someone could have IRAs, 401ks, brokerage accounts, cash reserves, future Social Security income, maybe even a pension. But the real planning work begins once you start asking, how much income can the portfolio realistically support over my retirement? How will these withdrawals be taxed? How much flexibility exists during these markets anytime that they're unstable? And how sustainable is my retirement income overall over time? And this is where retirement planning starts becoming much more practical overall. Because one of the first things that we typically want to build for clients is a retirement income map. This is a clear picture of your income sources, your retirement spending needs, your projected withdrawal rates, and how all the moving pieces interact together once your paychecks stop. Because once those numbers become organized clearly, retirement decisions usually become much easier to evaluate. And if you're enjoying the video so far, do me a favor, hit the like button. It really helps this channel reach more people approaching retirement who are trying to make informed financial decisions. Now, once retirement income becomes clear, another issue starts showing up fairly quickly. So mistake number 2, ignoring retirement taxes until it's simply too late. One thing that surprises people fairly often is how taxable retirement can become later in life, especially once multiple income sources begin stacking together. Here's what I mean. We have Social Security beginning, then we have required minimum distributions later in your 70s. You have investment income, and suddenly retirees realize how much less control over their taxable income they had than they expected. This is why retirement tax planning matters long before retirement officially begins. For example, 2 retirees of very similar portfolios could experience very different long-term outcomes simply because withdrawals were coordinated differently. Said a different way, the order in which you withdraw from your accounts and the accounts types of how they will be taxed matter. Timing matters. Tax brackets overall matter. And this is where retirement planning becomes much more connected than most anyone ever realizes. Large withdrawals later in retirement could potentially increase your taxable income, your Social Security taxation, and even your Medicare premiums. And that's why proactive planning can become so valuable during these years leading into retirement. Now, it could mean some situations that Roth conversions could be helpful. In others, you may want to coordinate withdrawals strategically across different account types that would then create better long term flexibility. But the key idea here is really to understand how it is all coordinated together. So it's about coordination and integration because retirement taxes are rarely just a simple tax issue. They become part of the retirement income strategy itself. If you'd like help evaluating whether your current retirement plan may create unnecessary tax pressure later, there's a link below where you can schedule a free call with our team. Now, while taxes matter, there's another retirement decision people often underestimate. So, mistake number 3 is making the Social Security decision in isolation. Now, a lot of people approach Social Security as a single standalone decision. Should I claim at 62, wait till full retirement age, which is typically 67 these days, or wait as late as I can, which is age 70? But in reality, Social Security affects far more than just this monthly benefit amount. It affects portfolio withdrawals, tax planning, survivor income, Medicare costs, and long term income flexibility. So, for some retirees, delaying benefits creates valuable lower income years earlier in retirement that allow for these strategic Roth conversions or lower tax IRA withdrawals. And for others, claiming earlier may fit the overall income plan more effectively. The important part is understanding how the decision fits into the broader retirement strategy. Because once retirement begins, isolated decisions tend to create unintended consequences elsewhere. And this is where retirement planning becomes much more nuanced than simply choosing a claiming age from some chart online. Now, this next area becomes especially important once retirement gets close. So, mistake number 4 is taking the wrong type of investment risk overall. So, investing during retirement feels different than investing during your working years because the portfolio now has multiple responsibilities. This is not just about growth alone, it now needs to support income, liquidity, withdrawal sustainability, tax efficiency, and to provide emotional stability during volatility. And this is where the sequence of returns risk becomes much more important. And what I mean is, during the accumulation years, market declines are often very temporary, and you have new contributions going into these accounts. You're not taking money out of these accounts. You're not really thinking too much about those downturns. But during retirement, withdrawals may now be happening at this point in which the markets begin fluctuating. That changes its experience entirely. This is why retirement portfolios often require a different structure than accumulation portfolios. The objective shifts towards balancing growth with flexibility while still having retirement income and sustainability. And honestly, one of the biggest retirement risks is often the emotional decision making during market uncertainty. Not because someone lacks intelligence, but because retirement investing becomes far more personal once income depends on the portfolio itself. Now, all this eventually leads into the final shift that ties retirement planning together, and this is mistake number 5, treating retirement planning as just a one-time event. Now, retirement planning is not static. We know life changes, markets will change, unfortunately, tax laws will change, healthcare costs change, and our family situations may change. And the retirement strategy that works at 62 may need some additional adjustments later at age 72 or even 82. And that's why retirement planning usually works best as an ongoing process instead of seeing it just as a one-time transaction. One spouse could be managing all the finances today and has done so for decades. Suddenly, if there's a surviving spouse scenario, this surviving spouse needs to be able to navigate everything alone. Your healthcare changes may begin to change. Income may evolve over time. Withdrawal strategies may need adjustment. And this is why simplicity and coordination become incredibly important later in retirement. Retirement planning is not just about optimization, it's also about clarity and reducing complexity. Overall, it's about reducing stress and creating confidence around how the plan operates over time. And if we take a step back and simplify everything we talked about today, strong retirement planning usually comes back to a handful of core areas that are working together cohesively and integrated as one system. First, understanding what retirement income actually looks like beyond just your account balances. Second, building a tax strategy built there before retirement begins so that it allows you to be less restrictive later. Third, coordinating Social Security decisions alongside taxes, withdrawals, and long term income needs. And fourth, making sure the investment strategy fits the realities of retirement income and potentially market volatility. And finally, treating retirement planning as an ongoing process as life, taxes, markets, your healthcare needs continue to evolve over time. And this is what I call the retirement blueprint framework, because retirement planning tends to become much more effective once all the moving pieces begin to support each other instead of operating independently. And that's really the difference between simply having some retirement accounts and having a coordinated, cohesive retirement strategy. This is exactly what we help clients organize at Cornerstone Wealth Planning. If you'd like help building your own personalized retirement blueprint, please click the description below, and there's a link where you can schedule a complimentary call with our team. If you found this video helpful, then make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone you think could benefit from having a more intentional and coordinated retirement strategy. I will leave you with one last reminder. Retirement planning often becomes much more about the system, the plan, the coordination, and integration as you continue in retirement. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.